Hey, welcome back to Head First Fishing. Appreciate you coming by the channel today. My name is Captain Joseph Rains. I'm here at St. Pete Fishing Outfitters, and today we're going to talk a little bit about cast nets. There's a lot to cover with cast nets, so we're just going to go over a few little tidbits, and then we're going to show you a really good method to throw a net consistently, even a large net up to 12 feet long, and it's going to open up very consistently. You're going to get a lot more bait thrown this way. You're not going to throw out your shoulder, and you don't have to put the line in your mouth, which is a huge bonus. But it's the middle of July right now. There's a lot of bait fish available in Tampa Bay, but it is a little bit on the scarce side for that really sweet spot size of bait that you're looking for in the right species, and that's the whitebait or the scaled sardine. It's definitely out there, but right now a lot of guys are putting in more time trying to find it, and I'm one of those guys. I've definitely driven probably an extra 3 or 4 miles or so to find this bait and get it in the boat so I can have lots of lively bait for the customers. There's definitely no doubt that getting out fishing with a big live well full of these scaled sardines puts a lot of confidence in you. I mean, if you can show up to a fishing spot with a bunch of these types of baits, you could be sure that you're going to get something, and that's always a good feeling. But what there is plenty of right now is very large thread fins, which can definitely work. The fish will eat those alive. I also use them dead as cut bait, and that will work very well for snook and redfish, and grouper will eat that too. Also, the smaller little juvenile herring and sardines are all over the place. They're all over the flats, they're at the bridges, on the beach, and these baits are about the size of an average person's finger, and they will pretty much wreck the average cast net. Excuse me. The typical cast net that we're using out here is something like this humpback net right here. And this is 12 feet long, and it has a 3/8 inch mesh. And this is a standard net again, and it has about 1.5 pounds to 1.6 pounds of lead per foot on that lead line going around, and this will help the net get down in the water and trap that bait. So this is a brand new net right here, fresh out of the bag, comes with a warranty. Really awesome nets. I've owned several of these. I'll continue to buy them as I need them. They definitely last a long time. Nets do require some care. You're going to want to definitely keep them clean, take any old dead baits out of it so you know the critters don't get in there and eat the dead baits while your net's stored away. You got to check it for holes. If you get holes in your net, then you're going to need to take it to repair once it gets holy enough. But this is what I'm throwing day in and day out, is a net just like this. However, this time of year I'm pulling out about an 8-foot net to a 10-foot net, and it's not just the length. This is off the radius. The radius is 8 foot or 10 foot or 12 foot or whatever the measurement is, but that's how long the net itself is, and that doesn't include the line. But this is 1/4 inch mesh, and it's visibly smaller. Just by casual observation, you can see that it's definitely smaller, and those little juvenile sardines and herring will not get stuck so much in this type of mesh. And what you don't want is them to get jammed in there. You don't want their head and gills to get stuck in there. You want them trapped, and you want them in this net and just falling free once you release them. Once you pull your net in, when you pull on your net, these lines get pulled, which draws the bottom of the net up. It pulls on these lead lines here and creates a basket. So all that bait's trapped in there, and you want the bait to be trapped in the basket of the net. You don't want it stuck in the mesh. So that's why different mesh sizes are so important, and you have to have at least, I would say you need at least 2 nets to really cover your bases. A lot of guys run 3 nets. A lot of guys have a 1/2 inch because they're throwing in really deep water and they want it to sink. So it's got that bigger mesh and it has the heavier weights, at least 1.5 pounds. Some are going 1.6 or 7 or 8. But standard around here is the 3/8. You're going to have a bad day if you throw the wrong net on those little bitty tiny juvenile baits. Those baits work great. I definitely try to catch them, but man, is it frustrating if I don't have the right net that day and I throw on it and what they call it Christmas trees it just looks like a complete mess. You've got 1,000 little bait fish sticking through the net. They're stuck in there, and then you have to clean that out in order to move on with your day. Otherwise you're going to have that rotting mess in there later, and it is not pretty. So remember, you want to have a couple of different nets to cover your bases for most bait fish species. These will catch pinfish, they'll catch small mullet pretty well. They'll catch, the sardines, the herring. I'm sure some of these work for ballyhoo. I don't catch ballyhoo, so someone else might be able to tell you better from which net was good for that. But I would think a 1/4 inch or a 3/8 inch would do well for that. I know they make special nets to catch those type of bait fish. But right now we're going to show you the method that we agree on is probably one of the best methods for most people to throw a net that ranges in the 10 to 12 foot radius. And you could probably even throw a 14-foot net in there. I don't see too many people throwing a 14-foot net, but you probably could do it. But this will definitely save your shoulder because I switched to it for that reason. You'll stay reasonably dry and you won't have to put it in your mouth. So here it is. So first you're going to want to put that cast net loop on the hand that is opposite your dominant hand. Next you're going to want to loop up or coil up that cast net line. Get it all in your hand and then bring the horn of the net into that same hand. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to coil in the net itself all the way down to about waist height. Next step is you're going to take about 1/3 of the net, separate it, and then flip it over your wrist where the rest of the net is. Let's show you that again. Very critical part right there. Next, you're going to take part of your lead line and you're going to throw it over the same shoulder as the arm holding the rest of the net. You've got that lead line hanging over your shoulder and your back. Now you're going to grab the lead line that's hanging in front of you and roll that portion of the net that was resting on your hand and wrist back into your lead throwing arm. You're ready to throw. You're going to pick out your target, shoulder to your target, swing back, and throw in a strong arcing motion, letting go with that hand that you threw with in front last. Last but not least, it is totally optional to look at the camera out of the corner of your eye and walk off like a boss. It is not recommended to wear shirts with buttons or zippers when throwing a cast net. Thanks for coming by the channel today. Be sure you hit the subscribe button and check out www.hff.fish.